Good morning and welcome to Austria. Before we get on the road, let's have a quick look at our travel card. The currency is the euro, and in cases of emergency, dial 112. If you plan to use a drone, check the latest regulations at dronespace.at and install the Austro Control app on your phone. If you're driving, the official toll website is asfinag.at. There are a number of charging networks run by local operators like Wien Energie, OMV, EVN, and Smatrix, where the latter is cheaper used with a German EnBW contract. You will also find international operators like Ionity, Shell Recharge, etc. Finally, here are some places I recommend visiting. We are currently on our way to Puchberg am Schneeberg, which is around an hour's drive from Vienna. What's more though, Puchberg can easily be reached by train and, if I'm not mistaken, there is only a single train change involved. Schneeberg is the highest mountain of Lower Austria at 2076 meters, and one thing that makes it special is the funicular that takes you up there, the Salamander train. The journey costs 45 euros per adult return and takes roughly 40 to 45 minutes each way. Normally, you would get a great view up here. Given the fact that the actual Schneeberg summit was deep in the clouds, I only climbed to Wachsriegel, which is a summit cross at 1888 meters and can be reached within 15 to 20 minutes from the train station. As I reached it, clouds started to clear out and the view improved. We can see the Empress Elizabeth Church and the valley towards Puchberg. The church has been built in 1901 in memory of the murdered empress. While the building was completed in 1901, the internal decoration took until 1914. After another 40 minutes on the funicular, I arrived back at the car park to a fully charged car. When I had checked the Salamander train website last night, I noticed that I could charge here for 39 cents per kilowatt hour, and there are 3 AC chargers at parking lot 2, all of which were available this morning. So I used the time I was exploring to top up the battery. Our next stop is also one that I noted on the travel card. It is Grüner See, the Green Lake. Green Lake was formed in prehistoric times through a landslide. Depending on meltwater from the mountains, the lake can be up to 10 meters deep or almost completely dried out. In the latter case, it reveals lush meadows and benches to sit on. The lake used to be very popular with scuba divers despite its 5 to 6 degrees cold water. Since 2016, however, scuba diving in Green Lake is prohibited. From the Green Lake, the next destination is the Red Bull Ring in Spielberg. My hopes of seeing much were low. As it turns out, even when they are preparing for an upcoming F1 race, it is still possible to drive around the outside of the circuit and get a decent view from the Landhotel Schönberghof up on the hill. After this, it was time to stop at a charging point to charge the car for the next day and find a campground for the night. Today is more of a day of driving than hiking. Granted, we did quite some kilometers yesterday also, but today some of the highlights are actually the roads. Where are we going? First, we are going to cross Austria's highest mountain pass road, the Grossglockner High Alpine Road. The road toll is 40 euros for an EV and 46 euros 50 for a car with an internal combustion engine. Before we do the crossing though, let's check out the Pasterze, the largest glacier in Austria and the Eastern European Alps in general. I have been here a good number of times and quite literally can see how it is receding. A rather sad thing to observe. It is a bit cold here, as you can see. I've thrown over a jacket because the moment you get out of the sun, you feel the wind, which isn't too strong but still noticeable. Nonetheless, the environment here is just absolutely stunning. And if you look behind us, normally this car park there is full of motorcycles. And now there is 2, I think. 3, yeah. I just parked myself rudely here in front of these charging points. They are at the Pasterze. I parked the car earlier in this parking garage there. And if you want to charge here, the AC charging is 49 cents and the fast charging is 59 cents. Now it is time for the big climb. We are here early in the day, which means there luckily aren't too many other people on the road. The gates open at 5:30 in the morning in case you are eager to be the only person around. My next destination is Edelweißspitze, the highest point on this road at 2,571 meters. It is a rather narrow set of hairpins on cobblestone road, a real joy on a motorcycle when it's wet, believe you me. The view is magnificent, though. From here, I will descend to head down to Zell am See. I had the hope to stop in Zell am See, which we see right across the lake here. I've heard a number of pronunciations of it, so the correct one is Zell am See. Am See means at the lake, and this is just beautifully situated. I love being here. And we've come from there, down the valley, and from up the mountain. So it's really close and just beautiful location. I'm now on the other side of this lake, because there was so much traffic in Zell that I had left town before I realized it. And there was a traffic jam going in from the north as well, which is why I decided not to try. From here, we'll head in this direction, and as in northern direction, and back into the mountains. This is one for the mountain bikers among you, or those interested in mountain biking. Where am I? The answer is Leogang. A few weeks back, there was a competition here, the UCI World Cup, and they did not have this kind of weather. In fact, it was a mud wrestling competition, but I would hazard a guess that they wouldn't even have liked this weather as we have today, because we've got 30 degrees up here and it's boiling hot. Next we cross Hochkönig mountain pass, which isn't quite as spectacular as Grossglockner though. It will take us to a charging station and on towards our next destination, Hallstatt. Yes, you heard that right. The picture postcard mountain village. Filming in Hallstatt is difficult because of the large number of people present and privacy concerns. Though we kind of picked a good day as it isn't crazy busy. Still, to optimize filming opportunity, I decided to go clockwise, while the usual tourist flow in Hallstatt is counterclockwise. End of 1997, Hallstatt and the surrounding Dachstein region became one of now 10 UNESCO World Heritage Sites in Austria. There are just over 700 inhabitants, and first traces of human presence date back to 12,000 BC. While the village was founded for salt mining, it now almost exclusively relies on tourism. The two most prominent buildings are the late Gothic Catholic and the Neo-Gothic Protestant churches, the former nestled up high and overlooking the village, while the latter is located right by the lake. In 1734, the salt-conserved body of a miner was found that presumably had died in a landslide around 400 BC. This find is also referred to as man in salt. From Hallstatt, we are now heading to St. Gilgen at Wolfgangsee. The region east of Salzburg is famous for its many and beautiful lakes, and Wolfgangsee is a prime example. You may have heard of St. Gilgen in relation to Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. His mother was born here. The small and very picturesque town houses just over 4,000 people and is located approximately 30 kilometers east of Salzburg. You can reach it from Salzburg in approximately 40 minutes by car or an hour by train. And this marks the last stop on our journey through Austria. I will now take the motorway back home to finish final preparations for the big trip. This 2-day adventure was meant to test equipment and myself and get me started with filming, narrating, and editing travel footage and learn from my mistakes. So what did I learn? My days are too long. The first day I arrived at the campground at 8 p.m. and was too tired to do more than importing and viewing the footage, hit the shower and the sack. I clearly need to make sure I either arrive earlier or perhaps develop a rhythm of 2 days of filming and 1 day for editing. Second, the bed in the back of the car is okay, but I need to smoothen the break between the boot and the folded down seat backs a bit more. Third, practice drone flying. Flying an FPV, as in first-person view, drone is challenging because you are not allowed to use the goggles unless you have a spotter who has the drone in their sight at all times. Traveling alone makes that one challenging. Why do I need to practice? I found that way too often I'm pulling the drone up because I'm watching the drone and not what it is filming. So practice, practice, practice. And fourth, filming narration with the Insta360 instead of the iPhone. I've had more sequences of the latter than shown in this video because they just didn't come out the way I wanted them. As said, there's plenty more, but for now let's have a quick look at the driving/consumption data. I started from Tulln with a full battery and drove 119 kilometers to Puchberg, where I charged 22 kilowatt hours and the battery to 100% again while I was exploring. From there, I drove to Green Lake, the Red Bull Ring in Spielberg, and to the next charging stop at Eisentratten, which totaled another 319 kilometers. There I charged 44.5 kilowatt hours and the battery to 94% and ended the day at a nearby campground. Next morning, I drove across Grossglockner High Alpine Road to Zell am See, Leogang, and across the Hochkönig mountain pass to Gilgen for another charging stop and another 311 kilometers. Due to a phone call that I had to make, I stayed longer there and ended up charging 49.3 kilowatt hours and the battery to 100%. From Gilgen, I drove to Hallstatt, on to St. Gilgen, and back to Tulln, a distance of another 365 kilometers. At home, I charged overnight 58.5 kilowatt hours to bring the battery back to 100% and ready for our big journey. From the consumption, we can see that it is more efficient to drive in the mountains than on the motorway. The charging losses, that is, calculated consumption from charged energy minus consumption displayed in the car, due to cable cooling and other inefficiencies, range from 1.34 to 1.83 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. What is odd here is that the biggest number came from an AC charger. And with that, I'm going to close this video. Thank you for joining me and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't yet. And I'm looking forward to seeing you again on our next stage where we are visiting Czech Republic. You have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye-bye.